ChatGPT has revolutionized the way that businesses interact with their customers. It's also affected how they get things done. Teams are using it for everything from emails to generating ideas for product names. The tool's personalized and informative responses in real time draw you in. But integrating ChatGPT into your business operations requires careful consideration. You want to ensure that things don't get out of hands with employees using the tool irresponsibly. Today's video, we're going to explore the best practices for using ChatGPT in your business, so stay tuned. Hello, I'm Michael Kinnett, CEO and founder of Eternal Networks, and every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I go live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and my personal LinkedIn pages. I discuss the latest tech and cyberspace news that might affect you and your business, and usually cover a topic as well. At the end of our live session, I'll be answering questions from the audience. So if you have any tech or cybersecurity questions, get them ready. I'll be covering those at the end. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of news headlines. First of all, this is kind of a big news. Any of you that have a Gmail account or a Google account, they're adding a new feature across all United States Gmail users. They're now going to be bringing dark web monitoring to everybody. They announced that everybody in the United States will soon be able to use the dark web report security feature to discover if their email addresses have been found on the dark web. They'll also provide Google recommended steps on what can be done in order to mitigate the risk of any exposure on the dark web. It's going to be enabled over the next couple of weeks, and once enabled, you'll be able to then select that option to scan the dark web for your email address and take actions to protect your data. So that's big news. If you don't see it, within the next couple of days, it might take up to 2 weeks from Google's announcement for everybody to receive that feature. Previously, it was only limited to their Google One corporate, enterprise customers. Another big headline: the FBI and the NSA announced that them and their allies have cut off the head of a Russian-sponsored malware campaign known as Snake. And they stated that, and this is in quotes, that it was the most sophisticated cyber espionage tool possessed by Russia. It's believed to have been in use for close to 20 years, and it's affected computers in more than 50 countries. In one example, the malware was implanted on a victim in NATO, after which the bad actors, as hackers are often called in cybersecurity circles, these bad actors were able to access and steal various diplomatic communications, including some sensitive documents. So the FBI and NSA have announced that they've neutralized this threat. It is no longer a risk in the world espionage areas and cybersecurity circles. So big news there. All right, now on to our main topic. So what are the best ways that you can use ChatGPT for your business? Responsible use, right? I mean, there's lots of ways you can use it, but how can you use it responsibly? I think in order to do that, you have to understand what ChatGPT is, its weaknesses, and everything. So it's still very new technology, and it's not perfect. When you use ChatGPT, you'll see a warning telling you, hey, this is new technology. It's not perfect. You can't assume that everything that it tells you is 100% factual. You shouldn't use the responses that it provides without human review and editing. So that's very important. I'm going to put that out here first. If you're using ChatGPT, and you probably should be, right? Just make sure that you're not just using it to spit out stuff and then using it in production. Make sure you're reviewing it and editing it and making sure that it fits you and your organization. Yes, it can write you an employee device use policy if you ask, but there might be things in the auto-generated policy that aren't quite correct for you and your business. So use it as a prompt, but not as a replacement for human-generated content. Another weakness is potential bias. As the engine trains on vast amounts of content, it can pick up bad habits. Just like humans, right? If you go and read only one side of an argument, you're going to be potentially biased to that side, right? So it's as the chatbot trains itself and reads and goes and consumes all of this data, not all the data that it consumes is going to be factual. So you could get biased or shocking responses from ChatGPT based on that. So important that you understand those things. In human terms, the tool is a toddler, right? It needs supervision. as it learns and grows. It's important in your organization that you define ChatGPT's role before integrating it into your business. It's essential that you understand how you're going to use it and you define what it can be used for and what it can't be used for. These roles can range from answering customers' questions to generating ideas for new products. Work with your leadership team to determine at what level you want to use it. And that can help you to leverage its power, but also ensures that you put in some guardrails. As the technology is new, you don't want your employees using it for everything. Determine what tasks the company approves for ChatGPT and what it does not approve of. And allow your users to work within those guidelines where you deem best and avoid improper use. Another thing is that it's important that you consider customer privacy. Privacy is a crucial aspect of any business, and ChatGPT should not be an exception. As you integrate the tool into your work, it's important you consider customer privacy. In fact, in Italy, a couple months ago in March, they banned ChatGPT due to some data privacy concerns. So just be aware of that. Be aware of any exposure of employee or customer data to ChatGPT and limit that potential exposure for data leakage. For example, you can configure ChatGPT to stop collecting customer data, such as after data collection reaches a particular threshold, have it delete that. So it's important that you understand that, right? If you're feeding customer employee data into ChatGPT for processing, you don't necessarily know what ChatGPT is doing with that and storing it. If ChatGPT were to be breached, that could potentially then lead to a breach of customer or employee data. ChatGPT is a powerful tool, but it's not a substitute for human interaction either, right? It's crucial to have human oversight to ensure the output gives relevant and accurate information. Human oversight can help stop inappropriate responses that might negatively impact your business. Another thing you can do is you can integrate ChatGPT in your customer service channels to help benefit your customers. It can improve customer experience while reducing the workload on your staff. Everybody's busy. It seems like everybody gets busier and busier. And so this is a tool that might be able to help streamline some of that. And as you integrate it into your website, maybe social media and other support channels, it can provide real-time responses to customer queries. But again, human beings need to watch ChatGPT and its responses to make sure that it's responding in a way that you want your company represented. You can leverage it intelligently to reduce the waiting time for customers. It can also improve their experience with your business. But once again, you got to have a human oversight. You got to monitor it and make sure it's responding and doing things as you would want. The last thing you want is a new AI bot upsetting your clients by responding inappropriately. It's also important that you measure the performance of ChatGPT and optimize it, right? As you're monitoring it and seeing it, seeing how it performs in different situations and what value it's providing, you can analyze the customer satisfaction, response time, the responses that it handled and that it gave out to ensure that it's doing that, and make adjustments, right? Make adjustments in the settings so that it's responding and doing those things as a human being would if a human being were in that role. You can also look at productivity statistics. ChatGPT, trying to think of the best way of wording this. Using ChatGPT to write the framework for customer emails, is it saving time, right? As you're looking at how long does it take for us to use a tool, and is there a benefit to it, right? Is it increasing productivity, or is it just transferring productivity, and with the amount of having to go in and make corrections and other things, is it not really saving time, right? Does it take just as much time for your team to edit its responses or your team to write the response in the first place? So that's another thing you got to take into consideration as you're evaluating how to use it. Based on the analysis of productivity, right, you can then optimize ChatGPT to either improve its performance, or maybe you decide that you're not going to use it in that part of your business. It's important that you're evaluating that and not just turning it on and hoping for the best. Another thing that's important to point out is you need to be transparent if you're using ChatGPT for email responses or other things. Your customers will appreciate your honesty. And here's an example, right? You could simply state in your policies the following: we leverage AI for certain content and always edit and fact check its outputs. Simple statement that lets them know that, hey, we're using it, but we're using it responsibly to make sure that the outputs are accurate and correct. The use of AI generated content is a murky area right now, right? Responsible companies tell their customers exactly where and how they're using it. It's important that you do the same. ChatGPT is an excellent tool for businesses looking to leverage its AI power and its productivity increases, but it's still in its infancy. Integrating ChatGPT in your business requires careful consideration, and you need to make sure that you're evaluating how to use it effectively and securely for you personally or within your company. If you need any help navigating the changing technology landscape, specifically with ChatGPT or other areas, message me. I'd love to have a conversation with how you can use ChatGPT or other tools within your organization on a more personal one-on-one level. We have an upcoming webinar next week. We're going to be talking about cybersecurity again. Did you know that cyber incidents have increased by about 63% this year compared to last year? I feel like a broken record here because every year I share similar numbers. Oh, they're up 50% over last year. Literally every year they're growing. These criminals are getting more aggressive as time goes on. Attacks are increasing, and it's important to recognize that and be aware of the reality of the world that we live in. Small businesses are much more likely to come under attack because they're less likely to have the same cybersecurity measures as large companies, and hackers are counting on that. Employing and following a cyber incident response plan can help any small or medium-sized business deal with a cyber attack more effectively and efficiently. And so to help you understand incident response better, our partners at Sophos are going to be joining us for our free live stream webinar. It's going to be next week, next Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Save the date, 1 o'clock. We're going to be live on our YouTube channel, Facebook. I think we go live on LinkedIn as well. But just come join us. No need to register or anything, but save the date. Next Thursday, 1 p.m. We'll be talking about incident response plans for your organization. I don't see any. Let's see if I got any comments or questions. I don't see any questions that have come through. So that being said, I'll wrap up here. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you more next week. Have a good one. Bye.